Imagine an AI that doesn't just generate, but truly creates an unimaginable depth and understanding. What if I told you that in the very near future, AI tools you use will be powered by something far beyond today's silicone chips, unlocking creative potential that makes current generative AI look like child's play? Get ready to see how quantum computing is about to revolutionize what's possible for creators. We need to talk about the wall. You feel it, right? We've been using these generative tools for 3 years now, and yeah, they're fast, but recently they're starting to feel the same. Now, you might be looking at your rig, maybe you just upgraded your GPU, and you're thinking, wait, is my hardware already obsolete? The answer is no. Your GPU is fine for rendering, but for thinking, we're hitting the ceiling. And that brings us to something critical for 2026. We're going beyond the byte. So, what is this ceiling? We call it the classical wall. See, current AI like ChatGPT, Midjourney, Sora, they all run on binary code, zeros and ones. To make them smarter, we have to feed them more data and burn more electricity. But as of early 2026, we are literally running out of high quality human data to train them on. And the energy bill, training one more major model now consumes as much power as a small city. We can't just add more chips anymore. The math is getting too heavy for classical computers to carry. We aren't stuck though. We're shifting gears into quantum. I know, quantum. It sounds like sci-fi buzzsuit. Superposition, entanglement. Does any of that actually mean anything for a video editor? It actually does. If you want to know what replaces the GPU for creative work, think of it like this. A classical bit is a light switch. It's either on or off. A qubit is like a dimmer switch, or better yet, a sphere. It could be on, off, or anywhere in between at the same time. That is superposition. But why do you care? Because of entanglement? Imagine you have two coins. In our world, if you spin them, they don't care about each other. In the quantum world, if you entangle them, they become telepathic twins. If one stops on heads, the other instantly becomes tails, even if it is on the other side of the galaxy. This allows quantum AI to calculate a billion different creative possibilities simultaneously, rather than one by one like your computer does now. Now, I hear you. Experts have been saying this 10 years away from the last 10 years. But 2026 is different. The era is ending. In late 2025, we saw the first logical qubits that could correct their own mistakes. Companies like Google and Q-era hit milestones where these machines finally became stable enough to run real code. And before you panic, thinking you need a quantum computer in your bedroom, you don't. You'll have access to it via the cloud, hybrid style. Your GPU handles the pixels, the quantum cloud handles the complexity. The logic is already being integrated into the back end of the tools you use today. It is not sci-fi anymore. It is infrastructure. So we've established that our current AI is hitting a wall. But what's on the other side of that wall? That is where things get wild. We call it quantum leap. But for creators, I like to call it the end of remixing. You might be thinking remixing is literally all AI does. It takes a billion images of cats, mashes them up, and gives me a new cat. Exactly. That is interpolation. Classical AI is like a really talented DJ. It can only mix what's already on the playlist. It predicts the next pixel based on the average of what it's seen before, but quantum AI, it doesn't just look at the playlist, it looks at the theory of music itself. It explores the solution space. Imagine trying to design a new creature for a game. A classical AI looks like every animal on Earth and gives you a mix of a lion and an eagle, a griffin. Cool, but derivative An AI can look at the rules of biology, gravity, skeleton structure, aerodynamics, and simulate a billion evolutionary paths that never happened on Earth. To find a creature that is completely alien yet physically functional, it is not copying, it is discovering. It is finding solutions that are mathematically perfect, but solutions humans and classical AI would never find because they're too weird. And this is an incredible practical. I know you have deadlines, not philosophy exams. So think about optimization. Let's say you're shooting a film. You have 50 actors, 3 locations, fluctuating weather, and a limited budget. A classical computer crashes trying to balance a schedule. An AI, a quantum AI, can ripple through every possible schedule simultaneously and hand you the one perfect timeline where you save $50,000 and wrap 2 days early. We aren't just prompting anymore. We are exploring the impossible. We've talked about the magic and the leap. Now let's talk about your toolbar, because in 2026, the buttons you click are going to do things that were mathematically impossible even a year ago. And no, this isn't just ChatGPT Quantum Edition. Think bigger. Imagine a video game that doesn't just have a map, but a world that builds itself as you walk. And I don't mean random trees. I mean a world that simulates weather, economics, and history in real time. Or imagine designing a dress digitally, but instead of guessing how the silk falls, the computer simulates the friction of every single thread. You might worry that would melt your computer, but that is the simulation point. A quantum cloud doesn't render pixels, it calculates the physics. It simulates the light phantoms, the wind resistance, the material stress, all instantly. You aren't faking reality anymore. You are virtually cloning it. And this isn't just about better graphics, it's about the true novelty. Classical AI is an emulator, quantum AI is an explorer. It can map connections between things that have no business being together. Imagine feeding a quantum model the structure of a Bach concerto and the color palette of a cyberpunk city. It won't just mash them up. It can invent a new art form like visual music, where the melody literally dictates the architecture in 3D space. But how do you make money with this? 2 words: hyper-personalization. Right now, you make one video, upload it, and hope a million people like it. With quantum delivery, you could create a living narrative. The core story stays the same, but the pacing, the background music, even the visual style shifts in real time to match the viewer. Everyone sees a movie perfectly tailored to them. If they're bored, the pacing tightens. If they love the character, the scene extends. It's the ultimate engagement hack. And it's only possible because quantum computers can handle the massive data load for millions of users at once. And I know some of you are asking, isn't that a privacy nightmare? It's a valid concern, but the industry is moving towards edge personalization to keep the data local. So we have the speed, we have the magic, and we have the tools. But where does that leave us? If the machine can simulate a universe in a second, what's left for the creator? The answer is simple, but it's scary. We stop being builders and we start being architects. Now, if you're like me, you actually like building. You might have spent 5 years learning node-based compositioning. Does it all mean that technical skill is just trash now? Not trash, but no longer a bottleneck. Think about the transition from manual animation to motion capture, or from dark rooms to Photoshop. The grind, the rotoscoping, the render waiting, the debugging. Quantum AI eats that for breakfast. Your job shifts from how do I make this look real to why does this scene exist? You are moving from execution to vision. Does that mean anyone can do it? Absolutely. But it also democratizes the impossible. Right now, only Marvel movies can afford massive physics simulations. Only Big Pharma can afford protein folding. In 2026, a kid with a tablet and a quantum cloud subscription can render a blockbuster level battle scene or design a new biodegradable plastic. The barrier to entry isn't money or hardware anymore. It is taste. And that brings us to the ethical imperative. When you can generate hyper realistic worlds instantly, the line between truth and fiction evaporates. We aren't just making content, we are curating reality. The creators who win in 2026 won't just be the ones with the wildest ideas, they'll be the ones with the most trust. We've looked at tech, the art, and the ethics, but I know you're thinking, I'm a storyteller, not a physicist. Do I really need to learn quantum mechanics? You might be struggling with the node graph and Da Vinci Resolve right now and wondering if you now have to learn superposition scripting. Relax. You don't need a PhD. You didn't need to learn binary code to use the internet, right? You just needed to know how to use the browser. The same applies here. The step one for today isn't math, it is literacy. It's knowing what's possible so you know what to ask for. Start playing with the early APIs available now, Google's Quantum AI Campus or IBM's Qiskit. You won't be building computers, you'll be learning how to think in probabilities instead of absolute instructions. The creators who win in 2027 are the ones preparing their minds now. It's the ultimate collaboration. We're moving into an era of quantum century, have human intuition, have quantum possibility. You provide the soul, the heartbreak, the humor, the messy human experience. The machine provides the scale, the physics, the variations, the logics. Together, you build things neither of you could build alone. The classical wall doesn't look so scary from up here, and that's the point. The wall is gone. The constraints that define our careers, it takes too long to render. It's too expensive to simulate. I can't draw that well. Those excuses are evaporating. The only limit left is the one inside your own head. So, what are you going to build?